Hello there guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Joffrey Noodlelegs here today. Here we are again in Christmas week. Hope you're having a good seasonal time. I didn't want to be obvious this week and do loads of Christmas movies because that's why I did it a week advance. I thought, no, you know what I'm like. I like to be that little bit different from the norm. So today I'm very honoured to review one of my favourite movies of all time. I rarely do this, do I? Do my favourite movies. I just try to give you views of movies that are probably less known or just need that little bit of a bit of output out there. So today I'm looking at one of my favourite movies of all time. And I love it. It's a Swedish film and it's Let the Right One In. This is a fantastic horror movie. This edition here is just a standard Blu-ray release. No special editions with it or anything. And I expect this video to not show up on my channel. I expect it to be blocked just because it's from a sort of like generic sort of company like Monument, the Paramount, that sort of thing. But very rarely they sneak through and I managed to get one in. So today we're looking at this. So a little synopsis of the film. It starts off in this little sort of like I don't want to say council estate, but it looks like a sort of like an estate in Sweden, where we meet our first character of the film, and that's Oscar. So that's Oscar looking out of his window, and we see a taxi pulling up with an old boy and a girl in the taxi. So Oscar's looking out the window and he sees them as they're just moving in. So as you can see, they're just moving in, and you see Oscar there with his knife, saying "Squeal, piggy." And that what this is about is he's getting bullied at school. He's like a 12-year-old lad, and he's being bullied at school, and he's just like got a knife, trying to sort of visualize and dream of getting revenge. I expect you see that a bit in this film. And then the girl and the guy have moved into the flat next door to Oscar's, and he then starts, the old boy, you just see him at the window boarding it up with cardboard. We then cut to Oscar at school, and there's a police officer there just giving a little talk. Now, we used to get those in our school when I was a young boy. In the juniors, we used to get the police and the fire, and they used to come around and giving us all little talks about certain things. Anyway, and so Oscar's answering his questions and telling that he reads a lot.
För att dölja det faktum att personen som bodde där hade blivit mördad innan. Hur kunde du veta det? Jo, ja.
För att det inte fanns någon rök i lungorna.
Ja, det stämmer. Räknar du ut det nu?
Nej, jag läser mycket så.
Vilken sorts böcker undrar man ju då.
Nej, inga särskilda.
Okej. Ja, nu tänker jag prata lite mer om det här med droger.
We then cut to after the class, and then we get to see for the first time Oscar's bullies.
Är det mig du glor på? Ska du ge fan? Hej! Vad duktig du var, grisen.
So that's Oscar's bully. Now, I get asked quite a bit on my videos, why do I not put proper just clips up? I always sort of do them on my phone from my TV. I'll tell you why. There's a reason for that. It's because I want you to get the feeling of watching it with me, that you're pretty much sitting on my sofa and we're watching these movies together. That's why I do it that way. Yeah, I could, you know, spend out and buy a laptop and sort of download clips and put them in and edit them on. And I don't want to do that, guys. I want you to feel like you're actually sitting on the sofa watching the movie with me. That's why I do it that way. Anyway, back to the film. So you can see that Oscar suffers bullying. And they pick on him quite a bit in the film. Which is a shame because he's a lovely lad. You know what I mean? He's one of those lads that's a loner. And I can sort of relate to Oscar because I was a loner when I was a little boy. I was always that little boy on his own that didn't sort of like have the friends, and I always sort of like walked home on my own and hung out on my own. I was that kind of lad when I was at school. Wasn't one for mixing. I wasn't into sport or football or nothing. I was just into my own thing. So I can relate to him. Anyway, so we then cut to a bit where we see the old boy and the girl in the flat. Now, he's getting a bag ready with these really strange things like a mask with like sleeping gas, and putting all this stuff into a bag. And then he heads out to the nearby woods.
Ursäkta. Ja. Hur mycket är klockan? Ja, men jag har ingen klocka. Vad är det? Ja, det kallas för halotan. Nej.
So this guy's gone to the woods, and he's put this mask on this guy's face, and he's made him go to sleep. The next thing we see is that he ties his legs up and hangs him up from the tree upside down. And then he puts like a sort of plastic, old sort of like massive plastic bottle underneath him and slits his throat for the blood to drip into the bottle. But he's not very successful. He gets disturbed by a couple walking with a like giant sort of poodle, and he gets disrupted by them. So he sort of walks off, and then they discover the body, the two girls walking with the dog, and he sort of like runs off and goes back to his sort of back to the bus to head back to the house. And then when he's packing some bits into the bag, he realizes that he's left the bottle behind with the blood in it and stuff like that. So he's collecting blood. So unfortunately, though, he did it unsuccessfully. Then we cut to back outside our flats, our apartments, where we see Oscar still sort of like dreaming of getting his revenge on these bullies.
Vad glor du på? Va? Är det mig du glor på? Ska du ge fan i? Vad är det med dig? Är du rädd? Skrik då! Skrik då!
So he's using the tree, pretending it's one of his bullies with the knife, trying to get his revenge, because obviously they're making his life a misery and tormenting him and being absolutely rotten to him. He doesn't seem to, his parents don't seem to know too much about it, because I think he's one of those sort of children, a bit like myself, that would keep it to himself and sort of like not spoke up about it. Anyway, he turns round and we meet Ely.
Vad gör du? Inget. Vad gör du? Ingenting. Bor du här eller? Ja. Jag bor här på klätterställningen. Visst. Men var bor du? Bredvid dig. Hur vet du var jag bor? Jag kan inte bli vän med dig. Bara så du vet. Vadå då? Måste det finnas en anledning?
I'm so sorry if some of the clips sound sort of goes at the end of the clips. If what's happened last night when I was doing it, my phone was quite hot. I think because I just finished making a video and I went straight into watching another movie, and I thought, well, I'll do this while I can, because I really want to get this movie out for you. I want you guys to see this film, 'cause it's amazing. And my phone was too hot, so I think when I pressed to stop that clip, the clip still ran for a second or so without the sound, but it's not too big of a problem. Anyway, so we've now met Ely. Now, Ely's the girl that's moved in next door. She's a vampire, I'll let you know now. Not really a spoiler, because it's a vampire movie. You know, it says on the front, you know, vampire movie. So she's a vampire, and she's moved in next door, and she's a young girl, supposedly. We don't know. You'll find that out through the story. Then we cut to that they go indoors to their own place. She said to she said to Oscar that we can't be friends, or anything like that. But you watch and find out if that happens. It's an amazing, beautiful story. These two, the relationship between these two it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's innocent and beautiful at the same time. So that progresses in the film. Anyway, we get into the house and then we see that the old man's come back and she's telling him off for messing up by not getting her blood for him.
Ska jag behöva göra det här själv?
Okay, we're going to move the story along a bit because I don't want to give you sort of a bit by bit. Be careful what I said this time. I just wanted to move it along. We're now in the sort of local cafe sort of bar where we meet some of the little locals, and the old man's in there having a glass of milk or something, and they try to talk to him and befriend him, but he doesn't want nothing to sort of do with it.
För min del så anser jag faktiskt inte att dödsstraffet har någon relevans i vårt rättssamhälle eftersom
det är ju bara någon nys de har lurat i oss. Ungefär som ryssarna eller något.
Säger du att det inte finns några ryssar?
Klart att det finns ryssar, så men... Huggormar, Jocke. Ärligt talat, vem fan har blivit biten av en huggorm?
And we go to another day of sort of like Oscar being bullied and things like that. And in the evening, he's back outside after he's asked his mum. His mum's really nice as well. Nice little family. I believe her mum and dad are separated because he goes off sometimes to spend with his dad and spends with him. And he has a good relationship with both of them. And we see him outside on the little sort of the climbing frame which she was standing on.
du här igen?
Jag vill vara i fred.
Jag vill också vara i fred.
Vad händer?
So now they're sort of like got a little chat, and it's a bit strange how they all seem to want to meet outside, those two, and it's like she doesn't want to be his friend, but okay. I think they automatically got that sort of feeling when they first met each other, that there's a connection between the two of them, be it future love, be it friendship. Or was she just looking for a new guy to do her jobs for her? Because like you saw, as I told you, the other guy's been a little bit unsuccessful with what he's doing. Anyway, she asks what he's doing. He tells her about the Rubik's Cube. She doesn't know what it is. He says it's a puzzle, and he hands it over for her to have a try.
Gör man?
Man ska få sidorna enfärgade. Så här.
So as you can see, they're quite sweet, aren't they? They're very sweet. And Oscar lets her borrow the Rubik's Cube for like a day or so she can sort of like play with it.
Ses imorgon då.
And as you can see, she looks cramps. She's got the cramps, and it's obviously to do with the pain and lack of blood, because she looks very pale, doesn't she? But it's obviously the lack of blood because obviously the guy that helps her didn't get her the food she needs. We then cut to two of the locals saying goodnight after being in the cafe, and one of them goes to like this underpass area where he hears someone crying for help.
Hjälp mig.
Hallå?
Snälla, hjälp mig.
Har det hänt något? Är du skadad? Kan du resa dig upp?
Nej. Nej.
Jag bär dig någonstans
Aj,
där
aj.
du kan ringa.
Försiktigt.
Du väger ingenting.
So he gets his comeuppance, doesn't he? So that's Ely there. She's jumped on him and she's sort of like drank blood from him. She then goes home and tells, and the guy said, well, what have you done that for? He then goes out, the old boy, and sort of gets rid of the body, puts it on a sledge, and he wheels it down to like a lake. They live not far from a lake, and he sort of like pushes the body into the lake and tries to sink it under the water. As you can see, when that guy was getting killed, he was being watched from the flats by an old boy with cats, loads of cats. Anyway, he's obviously a friend of theirs because he goes to the cafe and tells all the friends that he's just seen Loki being killed.
Det var inte igår. Och inte i år.
Jocke!
Va?
Jocke! Så såg jag Jocke och så var en liten unge.
Kattunge.
Nej, men det var så... Jag fattar inte det här. Det var så här någonstans. Men,
Det är blod för fan.
So as you can see, they've gone off to see if they can see Yoki where he was killed, but he's been moved and the guy's buried the snow all over where the blood is. But anyway, we cut to the next day and we see Oscar. He returns back to like the climbing frame and sees that his Rubik Cube's back there. So it's been completed. So Oscar's quite wow, he's wowed by it, and he's sort of like, yeah, I think this is where he starts to feel that sort of bonds between him and Ely.
Hur gjorde du?
Jag vred.
So yeah, that's a beautiful little segment there, and the music in this film is incredible. It's beautiful. It's just stunning. It's my favourite film soundtrack. You might have seen my soundtrack thing, and yeah, it's my favourites. Anyway, he then goes. It cut to Ely up on the climbing frame again, and he goes over and starts talking to her about how she do it, and then they start asking each other questions about each other's name and age, and he says, you know, I'm Ely, and he goes, I'm Oscar. She goes, 12, and she says 12. Well, sort of, but she's been 12 for a very long time.
Luktar det bättre?
Vad heter du?
Eli. Vad heter du?
Eli?
Ja.
Ja, Oskar heter jag. Hur gammal är du?
12. Ungefär. Du då?
12 år, 8 månader och 9 dagar. Vadå 12 ungefär? När fyller du år?
Jag vet inte.
Men liksom när du födelsedag så. Dina föräldrar. De måste ju veta.
And Oscar's so sort of sweet. He's like, he asks you, you know, you don't know, she doesn't know when her birthday is, and goes, don't you get presents or anything? She says, no. So bless his heart, he offers her the Rubik Cube.
Nej.
Du kan få den här om du vill.
Den är din.
Jag fattar inte hur du gjorde.
Ska jag visa dig?
Visa.
Man måste börja med här. Måste med här sedan. Så sätter man. Sådär. Ser du så?
But she says no, that's fine, that's cool. And so their relationship seems to build up as the film goes on, and she gets quite protective over Oscar, and Oscar gets very protective over her. And the old boy still goes out trying to get the blood for her and still messes up all the time. It gets to one stage when he goes to the school and he tries to get blood from a guy and he fails again, and he ends up pouring sulfuric acid over himself just because he says, I can't do this anymore. You know, a bit of a sad story. And he ends up in hospital. Ely goes to visit him and drinks his blood and he dies, sort of thing. And so Ely's a little bit on her own. Or is she? And that's all I'm going to tell you. So, well, how's the relationship going to blossom between these two? There is a beautiful story between the two of them. And amongst that, there's some horrendous kills going on. And there is some horrendous kills in the film. It can be quite shocking in places, and then it can be the most beautiful film in other places. Watch it and find out. What do I think of Let the Right One In? It's one of the greatest horror films that's ever been made. It's incredible. I love the film from start to finish. It's a beautiful story. The story is amazing. It will shock you. It can make your heart feel warm, and it can make you feel sad, and it can make you feel happy all at the same time. It has the elements of doing all that. That's how amazing this film is. And it's topped by the most beautiful soundtrack of any film. Incredible film. So the pluses of this film: it looks stunning, beautifully photography in that film. I love that it's that it's in Sweden. I'm glad it's not messed around. The Americans did do a remake called Let Me In. Guys, avoid it. Avoid it. It's rubbish. Nothing like this. This is the film to watch. It's incredible. And it's beautiful. The characters are brilliant. The two youngsters are amazing. Amazing actors, Oscar and Ely. The young ones that played, I'm not going to even try and pronounce their Swedish names. But yeah, they were absolutely incredible in the film. The story grips you right from the beginning, right to the end. It's amazing. It's brilliant. The minuses of the film, there's none whatsoever. This film is perfect. It's perfect. It's a perfect film. Amazing film. Please, guys, watch it. I'm going to score it now as an essential watch. I'm going to give it 10 out of 10. If I could give it 11 out of 10, I would. But it's perfect. It's just one of the greatest films ever made. And it's just brilliant. Love it. If you come out of this film and you're not touched by it, because it's a touching story, then I don't know. You need to question your own sort of your own feelings, really. If you've got no feeling about these two after you watch this film, then yeah. But it's a great film. Amazing. Let the Right One In. 10 out of 10. Any of you guys seen it? If you have, let me know down below what you thought of it. There is nothing like it. There is no other film like it. It's the greatest vampire film ever. And it's one of the best films ever made. That's all I can really tell you about it. I mean, next year, in the new year, I will do a vampire top 10. And I will put this in there. I wonder what number it's going to be. But anyway, that will come next year. Please, guys, please watch this film, Let the Right One In. It's amazing. It's beautiful. And if you can find it and you love it, buy the CD soundtrack. It's my go-to relax soundtrack. If I'm chilling out after a long day, or if I'm in the bath or whatever I'm doing, that's my music. And when I'm listening to it, I can still visualize these two. And that's how powerful it is. It's a very powerful film. It's a very beautiful film. It's a very touching film. And it's quite a scary and gory film. Please, guys, watch it. Till my next video, go and check out some horror channels for me. That's Horror Hands, The Horror Geek, Man v Film, RS Designs, I Am Ice Lord, and Pizzlewell, as well as Sarah of Horror. Until next time, guys, look after yourself, look after one another, and I really hope I see you all soon.